This episode of Background Noise is brought to you by Trident Clothing Shop. Now listen, y'all, this is a brand new clothing company that's taken the public by storm, with not only a badass line of clothes and accessories, but a strong message behind it too. Trident Clothing Shop's goal is for you to go out and challenge yourself, be the best version of yourself you can be, and achieve all your goals. And shit, even look great doing it too. But don't take my word for it. Go ahead and click on the link that's underneath the video in the comment section. Check out the website. You be the judge. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and let's get this shit started. Goddamn rookie.
That was so funny. You're gonna be who Joe Rogan listens to, just like to get to escape from his world. Like he just
right. He's just like, so there is mediocrity out there still that is enjoyable.
He's like, I remember those days.
Not even.
He never had those days.
No,
I don't know his early podcast days.
He came out the womb with a mic screaming, "Ow! Ow!"
Yeah, right.
like fucking judo through hip toss the goddamn doctor after spanking him.
Oh,
Anyways.
yeah.
What's up, everyone? This is Background Noise. I got David Rowe with me. We're going to spend some time talking about some weird thoughts, crazy shit, and some conspiracies, and whatever the fuck it leads into. So what's going on, my dude? Hey, thanks for doing this again with me.
Hey, yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Shit,
Yeah.
balls. When I was fucking on the way over here, I was listening to a song by Jimi Hendrix.
Of course.
Machine Gun. Live at
nice.
the Fillmore East. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Dude. It just fucking... It tickled my pickle in such a way, dude. The stars aligned, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be listening to more Jimmy on the way home.
Oh, dude. I mean, yeah. I'll always like to listen to some Jimmy every once in a while. I've been listening to... I've been getting a lot back into metal again and listening to that.
Shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I mean, it was always there, but I just stopped with
It's
it
like
for
that
yeah.
creepy ex-girlfriend that just will never leave you alone, but she's really good at getting freaky under the sheets, so you just keep her in your back pocket.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you just have
You're
that one
just
there.
you're in a bad mood, and you're just like...
Yeah, but oh, dude. Yeah, so this happened to me. Yeah, I've been listening to Avatar a lot.
Okay, cool,
again.
cool, right on.
And they're just they're one of my favorite bands like in the last 5 years.
Aren't they coming to San Antonio?
Yes, they did.
You missed it?
I missed it, dude. Yeah, I literally just out of the blue on Friday. Well, listen, that's what happened was out of the blue on Friday. I was like, I just want to see like what are their tour, what are they doing, and I just typed it in and looked, and then it was like San Antonio Sunday at 7 p.m.
And what day was it? Do you remember?
Like that Sunday. It was like 2
shit.
days from like the next day, and it was just I couldn't do that. Like it was, dude. I'd have been out too late. Work it the next morning. Made a couple excuses, but it was just too late. I just didn't have time, and I didn't want to go by myself.
On that note, wouldn't it be fucking sick to be able to comprehend how to travel through multiverse and just fucking like go real quick?
All Rick and Morty style. I don't know. That would be. I don't know. That would
So
be a
I was
lot.
thinking the other night on the truck.
You'd think it would be cool until you started seeing all of them, and then I don't know. I feel like it could get scary real quick. When you enter like the spaghetti universe or something. Like.
No, okay, but see, like I was thinking about this on the truck, and this may very well be not logical whatsoever, but
Right.
it's just what I was thinking last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what if like people were to slip into another, like an alternate reality, like another thin page of the multiverse, and it's in a nearby, I guess, frame in the multiverse. It's not. It's only if let's just say like. Your multiverse, your universe is a chapter book.
Right.
It's like the next page.
So isn't one of the multiverse theories that they're like stacked almost like a deck of
Exactly.
cards kind of thing? So it would be like the next card in the deck kind of
But
thing.
what if your weird states of like deja vu you have in dreams and shit like that is you just kind of maybe getting a little step closer to turning to the next page, getting to the next multiverse, and
Okay, so you're kind of getting into like Stranger Things.
in
Like,
a way, yeah,
kinda, you
yeah.
know,
I
like-
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they were saying. They were just saying that he had, a what was it, like some kind of a mental disorder or something at first, whenever he was, going to that other dimension. And that's literally what it was. It was the like reverse dimension or, so yeah, I mean, that's really cool. Yeah.
And then my thing is what if like not only you're kind of just bouncing in between like page by page, I'll just call them pages for the sake of it because
right.
I'm dumb and I don't know how to talk with words. But what if like you unknowingly slip into that other page and you stay there? Maybe like astral projection, or maybe like you actually end up trading spaces somehow and not realizing it. But you just notice like maybe your best bud down the street just is in a mood today you've never really seen him in before, and then otherwise you just adapt to the situation and stuff like that, and you never really know you end up on the other page. And I don't know what caused my mind to go that way. I was just kind of like,
you've been driving too much.
That's like my utter like desperation just to get into a multiverse so I can get some fucking sleep.
Right. Yeah. Where the multiverse where the work day is only 2.5 hours long, and
I'm just now like today recovering, and I think it was last Thursday and Wednesday I worked 2 overnights, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and I did them. I mean, they weren't that bad. I between the two of them, I probably napped about 30 minutes. But I got good rest the next day. The only thing is I was waking up at like 11 o'clock, and I'm used to waking up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and like having a morning and all that shit. And it just took me till today for me to fucking like, because I'll be up till 4 in the morning. I'll be up till 4 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I need to be up at 8. I just need to go to fucking sleep.
Right.
And
that's where I find myself every once in a while. Like if, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning most days. And on the weekends I'll stay up, and there's been a couple of times that I stay up playing stupid video games and stuff, and I stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh wow, I'm glad I'm not having to get up and go to work right now. Like, just power through. No, but dumb things.
But dude, I mean, like, well,
fun.
Lately what's been keeping me up, if I can't sleep, I'm just like, fuck it, and
be productive.
Exactly. I'm
right.
rewriting I have like the intro music I'm using for this podcast is just kind of like a presetting in iMovie.
Yeah. It's very cool, by the way, I have to say.
Oh yeah, you liked it? You digged it?
Yes. So, and you played all of that, right?
Yes, everything but the beat machine.
Okay. But you still made the beat though.
No. I just picked a tempo. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And I chose the beat.
Okay.
It's a pretty simple beat, but I played a rhythm, a lead, and I did 2 little background noise noises in the background, and they have some cool settings where you can kind of make it like echoey space like sounds and like weird little hums and shit. And I thought it was pretty okay. I'm happy about it, and I'll probably be dropping soon. Hopefully within the next month or 2 I'll be able to get cameras up in this bitch, and start doing the video podcast, and got the studio up and all that good shit. So anyhow, infomercial over. But yeah, dude, and it kind of makes me wonder too, going into dreams. Alan Watts, have you ever heard of that guy?
I have, but you will have to remind me a little
Alan
bit.
Watts, I don't know too much about the guy. I just know that I listened to one of these videos, and he described, like, what if you can go into your dreams and live and fulfill anything? You had the power to do anything you wanted to, no matter what it was.
Okay.
And he would just, it was really poetic in a way, but he was just basically describing how first you'd probably go and adventure out and try things you've never done before. Maybe become a superhero and like maybe go out and just conquer the world, or just something like you never could ever really fathom, and or at least strive for that. And then what after you're done being adventurous and risk taking? I'd probably enjoy like the lusts and good things that I've never really had a chance to enjoy, like money and sex and just things I've never really fathomed I'd ever be able to get that way. And then basically what the premise is that eventually you'd come full circle, and then eventually all you would want is to go back and live the normal life that you would have lived before having access to this ability. And it was really, really cool, and just kind of made me think about dreams and like astral projection.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it would be kind of a Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
like just an opportunity to get all your crazy stuff out of the way.
not
and
just
then
crazy stuff, but just like adventurous and like
Yeah.
just try anything and everything you could possibly do
Yeah.
until it just gets bored, until you're just ready to go back to the regular life that you lived before, or
Yeah.
just commit suicide.
I mean, that's in a way that's kind of what dreams are anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a random projection of something. I mean, and you know, exactly like what you said, you know, through astral projection and everything, that is kind of, I've never tried it. I've never really,
My uncle got into it for a little bit. And,
Yeah.
he did it. I don't know exactly how long he did it for, but
Mhm.
he for a good while, and he ended up the first and last time he ever did it. No, I might be mistaken. No, okay. He'd wake up in his dream a little bit and then just realize, okay, I'm awake in this dream. And then
That's so
he wouldn't go anywhere. But one time he tried leaving,
Mhm.
his bed in his dream,
Mhm.
and he walked, and he ended up leaving the door and walking down the stairs, and he started going up this stairway on the other side of his apartment complex. And then as soon as he touched the stairs, he just felt an enormous dark pressure on his chest, like he was just like too far, and he ran right back to his body and went back to sleep. And after that, he stopped.
That's yeah.
I think I was in third grade when he told me this story, so I was scared as shit.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, that wasn't true. I was in fifth grade,
Yeah.
right before sixth grade. But anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, I was scared shitless, and two, it just got me really thinking. And then Insidious came out. I'm just like, oh
Yeah,
fuck
right.
yeah! Oh my god! It just
Yeah.
that's
Like,
why
I need to go find this lady.
that's why those movies fucking tickle me pink, man.
Yeah.
Like, they hit my sexy spots.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I mean, I like them too. I have the hardest time keeping them all straight. Which ones are what?
And I saw the most
timeline.
recent one. I saw the brand new one. I think it's the fourth one.
Mhm.
And in all honesty, they do. This movie's about what I wanted them to do this entire time. You know, well, not okay. One of the things I've been wanting to see regarding spoiler alert: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It regards the old lady.
Yeah.
And like basically plugging in her place in the story and like
her
when
backstory.
a little bit more of a backstory and like. And it's
Most-
really cool, but in
most
all honesty,
awesome grandma of all time.
Seriously,
dude. She
dude.
is so cool.
And so like there's this. I was bummed out by the demon or whatever it was.
Oh,
in all
yeah.
honesty. And it was just there wasn't much sustenance to the movie at all, man. I mean, like it's cool, but like
Reaching.
and I like it. It's worth the watch, and I'm a
Yeah.
fan of the Insidious series, and I'll always watch them. And it's just this of all of the Insidious movies, this is my least favorite.
Yeah.
I was so bummed out.
Yeah.
But I know they're going to do the red dude eventually, the guy who scares the shit out of everyone every single time he pops on the screen.
Yeah. The tiptoe through the tulips guy.
Yeah. Fucking Tiny Tim's like sex puppet.
That was the weirdest, like the perfect song.
It's just
for
the
a horror
perfect
movie.
like tiptoe through the tulips is just like the perfect like just it gives us the most rapey vibes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's
Like-
the perfect way to say it.
If I ever
Yeah.
heard that in a dark park, I would run up the nearest tree and just hunker down with the squirrels.
Just
Like
yeah,
fuck that noise.
Fashion a spear out of a stick and just go feral for a little bit. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. But so anyways, like it's worth the watch. It's
Yeah.
all right though. And that summed up pretty much my my shift yesterday evening.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. There's a thing that I always like to think about too. One of my random thoughts, since you had yours. There's a quote, ironically enough, by Adolf Hitler that is, "The victor will never be asked if he told the truth."
So it's like the victor.
The victor will never be asked if he told the truth.
So
And now-
you're talking about like those who win the wars have rights to the textbooks,
right?
And
Well, history is determined by what is left, and when you look back through history, what is the victors of the wars destroy everything that the other thing was. You know, it's a complete
or at least
and
it destroys all credibility, because word
yeah.
still does spread, and there's always that, you know, the conspiracies of like
Right.
the backstory of the wars, and you know, some
Right.
of them.
But you know, the thing that I always like to put it is, I mean, there's always two sides to every war. There's always, you know, the actually, you said it. What is it that you even the villain is a hero in his own eyes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, so you know the
Even
one I
if
always
they are going in the wrong, what we would see as the bad guys, like I mean, in the U.S.
right
in most cases.
So
like, yes,
you know,
we are the bad guys.
the one that I always like to look at, which is so funny, is that, I mean, just for example, the Revolutionary War. You know, we know it as history that King George was. Oh man, my history is bad. I believe King George was this horrible tyrannical dictator who was taxing us unjustly and terribly and everything. Well, okay, we won.
Yep.
We're our own country.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if we lose? Like, somehow we should have. How did we win that war? Guerrilla warfare, baby. But but you know, what happens if we lose the Revolutionary War and we get pounded down and the British reestablish the colonies and everything? Then it was the great attempted revolution by the barbaric colonists who they would probably find some way to blame it on the Native Americans. I mean,
it's fucked up, but you're right.
I mean, you know,
the truth.
And you know, you know, whatever it would be, but you know, that's just my thing that I always think of, you know.
Well, that also too, on that note, look at you know, we're talking about Adolf Hitler and his camps and concentration camps, but look at, was it Eisenhower? And look at a lot of the other dude, there were camps full of German civilians too. Like,
yeah,
but no one ever mentions that shit.
You know, shortly
but
after,
we're the victors, so of course we're not going to mention those. We're going to make, you know, Hitler. I mean, granted, Hitler's a fucking, you know, whatever. Everyone knows Hitler, but like,
you know, it's kind of ironic because there's a time period between World War I and World War II. I can't give exact dates, you know, off the top of my head, but ironically, after Germany was shrunk down and I believe it was almost 2/3 of the country was given to neighboring countries as part of as part of the cost, because they lost the war. I can't remember the exact word that it's called, but restitutions for losing World War I, because Germany got blamed for World War I. And so it's ironic because in Russia, what became Russia, the part of Germany that was given to Russia, there was somewhere in the neighborhood of, I believe it's 10 to 20 million Germans who were killed by Bolshevik Russians.
Oh yeah,
who are Jewish. So it's ironic that, you know, that happened, but you know, the numbers on that might be a little wrong. I would have to do some more research, but it's just, you know, funny things, you know, with history when you look into it more, looking not just at history from an American standpoint, or, you know,
from a global standpoint.
Or just choosing a specific country in general, you know, just choosing, you know, specifically Russia's history and trying to look at like their history. Like, it would be so interesting to read like North Korea's history. It would be so interesting to see like their version of what has happened throughout the last 200 years.
But one thing to kind of combat, I mean, I completely agree with you with the whole, you know, the victorious right history, but the Library of Alexandria that was burnt down by not Alexander the Great, but Caesar, I believe, and that was in 48 BC, and arguably a lot of people will say this is the first major university the world has ever seen. Right. They're saying over, I think, what is it, like I don't know the exact numbers, but there's like 75,000 scrolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember they're saying like, I can't remember how much it set back the human civilization. That's it's something like it set the burning of that, of that library was
detrimental to, because I mean, not only that, you had,
makes you wonder what was in there, dude.
Dude, I heard that there's a good strong possibility that the first what was that? Anyways, The first translated version of the Bible, Old Testament, from Hebrew to Greek was done in Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria, and and it's just the reason why that's kind of an argument there is because we know because of scribes, people who would translate and make copies of all these scrolls and findings. Like they knew that the world was already round. They can find out distance between I forgot the name of the guy, but he missed it by, I think, 200 miles, the circumference of the Earth, just based off of shadows in the sun. And it was really, really cool to listen to. And because of this information, that's not, I mean, the Library of Alexandria wasn't known as like a barbaric city, rewritten by history by the victors, being Caesar. We know what a great and exponential, source of information for the world was back then. And apparently that was around for like 7,000 years before it actually got burnt down. And that's
crazy. And yeah, I have his name here, Eratosthenes. I don't know how to say that, Eratosthenes. But yeah, he actually is credited with the first. He is credited with getting like a very, very accurate.
He was off by like a very small margin.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, but it was over 2,000 years ago that he did this. He had calculated the circumference of the Earth.
And where would we be if this library never got burnt down? Like, where do you? Could you even fathom? Like, would we totally bypass the idea by that point? Because dude, that was a focal point for people of all over the globe to travel there and share the knowledge we've learned. Could you imagine if like a major society brewed from that and then just exploded into like what the world is or some shit? We have like a harmonious society or some shit like that.
Right. The same, and if you want an even more modern version, look at Tesla.
Yeah.
Why hasn't, he had all of these ideas for things, there's a lot of people that say that it was just fantastical, it wasn't ever real, and that he didn't ever intend for it to be real. But I don't know, man. He had some pretty foolproof ideas, and I think it's kind of interesting that stuff like that doesn't like we're at a point now where we should have the resources to try some of his stuff. Like, somebody's doing it somewhere.
The problem is that anytime there's a major threat, or even like any threat whatsoever to major oil and uranium and stuff like that, it just something happens. Everything from just
when you start throwing free energy around, you start seeing a lot of very, very nervous rich people.
Those who haven't exercised a day in their life find their like a 45-pound plate smashed on their face, like on the bench press. Like,
yeah. But I don't know, man. That's always one that I think about a lot too. It's an interesting one. It's like
it's a real fucked up game.
We're just gonna keep hearing about Tesla for the rest of our life and never know if any of his stuff actually works.
Cool.
Right?
What would have happened?
Right? Yeah. Oh man. Maybe one day I'll have
there's
free
another
energy.
Tesla somewhere in Kentucky.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, you got capped.
Well. Move on.
I guess I'll go back to work and pay for student loans just to not. Just gets trapped into the fucking machine.
Yeah.
Dude, there's clearly a lot of, people that college has truly worked. It's worked out great. They do the 4-year or however many years it takes to get whatever it is they need, and they get the job right out of college, pay off their debt, they budget correctly. It's awesome. Good for them. But there's just a lot of people that, there's only so many doctors that could be out there, or so many, you can always get a degree somewhere, but then you have the business degrees, and then like the psychology degrees, where it's just a lot more broad. And we're starting to notice that a lot of these people who are getting those degrees are having a lot of trouble finding a job, or finding a job that pays well enough to really get them started, because prices are going up everywhere too. And
and the problem is that you get however many thousands of dollars of debt racked up when you're in college, and then you expect to get a job immediately out of college that pays $50,000 a year, because that's what you have to make to be able to pay off your student loan debts. And there's just not that many. That just doesn't. You don't get. There's not many entry level positions out there that are paying that much money.
Exactly, and not only that too.
Most start around 30, 35. And then after, maybe if you stay there 5 years, you might see that much of a jump. That's just the way it goes, and people fall into the trap.
I mean, not only the working trap, but the consumerism trap. You know, like we're constantly getting the newest best thing, whether it be cell phones, cars, or anything. Where I mean, shit, Apple admitted to slowing down their phones. They said it had to do with the old batteries, basically saying like because of the old batteries, they They make I don't know, it's like a fail safe to it slows down the phone to prevent the battery from fritzing out or some shit. But you know what that screams? Just like, oh, we're slowing your phones down still. You know, like you're gonna buy the newest thing, and the funding with Apple is so huge too because like they have our fingerprints, they have our facial recognition, they have our bank statements, they have everything. You know, and we were constantly forced to just buy the next best thing, which is not cheap. I mean, I just upgraded my phone, you know, to an iPhone, and fucking $800 later, and I'm just kind of like, what the fuck, man? Like, I want this shit to last, but.
What was I watching that there was a joke that? Oh, it was in Archer. I was watching the new season of Archer. I think it's season 7. I don't know if that's the new season or not, but. And Cyril was talking about how he didn't have a cell phone or something because he was shopping, and Archer goes, and Archer, he's just like, well, why? There's literally only 2 companies. Like, make your damn choice already. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, they just bought their way out to the top. Remember Singular?
And then and I was thinking about it, and I was just like, he said that, and I was just like, wow, there seriously is only 2 companies. There's Apple, and there's Google.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Well, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon down the road gets something going.
Like, you know, there's all those little ones, but they're all part of the
they're all pretty much bought out now. Like, think of like AT&T got Cricket, AT&T got Singular, you know? Like,
when we were kids going and trying to find our razors, you know.
If you had a razor, you know, you're like either the rich kid or just like the kid that started selling weed early,
right? Or you were like me and you had Sprint, so you had the katana, the katana, which was like that looked like a cheap knockoff version, but that phone worked well. It worked. I had it for 4 years, I think, and it didn't slow down or anything.
I had the
now.
Nokia brick for fucking forever. I remember it got shot with an airsoft gun. It got tossed down the street by accident.
Probably broke the stairs or broke the street.
Right, broke the street. Pothole formed.
Yeah, just. The most durable thing in existence. Period. Put it up against a tank and Nokia brick.
They test it with diamonds. So
yeah,
it's cracking diamonds.
Right.
Any whore.
That's what the oil companies are using now as their heads for their drills is Nokia bricks. Yeah, I actually saw something too that was it. I think that the first oil company is going to successfully break through the crust of the earth.
Oh, really?
And go into the mantle?
No shit.
I think so. We're gonna die.
It turns out the earth is hollow and it's.
They crack it open. They crack open. Yeah.
We just made it like a balloon.
It actually is hollow. Oh my god.
Sorry, flat earthers. Man. We're like a cascarone.
Or just like even worse, like you actually crack open the dimension into hell and all the just demons and stuff. Right? Like in South by we're sorry. Like
we're sorry.
That's why they accidentally opened a portal and
to another dimension.
Praise the great Lord Cthulhu, long may he reign. It's gonna happen, dude. We got that, and we got Skynet forming too. We got AI going crazy, making languages talking to one another. Like, we're gonna have it all. Like all these movies that we've been watching.
What do you think about these fucking sex dolls that everyone's making memes about?
I don't know, man. That's That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. That's just weird. Have you, like,
Apparently they
dude,
talk to you. They can carry a conversation.
Dude, no, I know, but it's still in like the super broken computer speak. So she's like, I want to please you. It's just like, no, it's weird, dude. I don't know.
And
that's too real.
Dude, they have them that
know.
they orgasm too, and they like. It's
I know,
so weird.
that's weird.
But dude,
that's
I mean,
weird.
we're in the beta phases, and remember what we were talking about like the
Mhm.
sex toys making people not, like less and less necessary to procreate, and we're gonna have our genitals, wither away, and we're gonna shrink, and our eyes are gonna get big because of our cell phones,
just
and
be this gray amorphous just body. Like,
no, we can access more than like 2% of our.
Don't even talk anymore.
We just telepathically
telepathic communication.
And then we go back in time to study us now and test with anal probes.
And watch us and just like, oh, that looks fun. Oh, man.
Aw, bitch.
Oh, man, I wish I still had those. Come on.
Oh, shit. Man, I mean, okay, who do you think would be the funniest person to get abducted?
Oh, man.
I mean... man, that's a fucking tough one.
There's too many.
Okay.
There's too many.
Let's try to let's make some categories.
There's too many.
Okay. Let's do.
No, you're wrong. That doesn't go there. You're wrong. No, I own this ship.
If you had a pussy, I would grab it.
Yeah. You're missing out, guys. Any woman I want, I can. You should try it. It's great.
I have a country. What do you have?
Right. I mean.
Oh shit,
dude. Let's see.
That's a good one. Donald Trump abducted by aliens comes back, has the huge.
Okay, here's the deal. I've just made the greatest deal of all time. We're now we are selling aliens our women. Okay, that's what's happening. They're going to give us billions. Okay, billions and billions.
Billions of what? Oh, what kind of currency do you use?
Space rocks. Oh man.
Oh no. Oh no.
Bill Nye. I'd like to see that just so that they could.
You're not a scientist.
I was going to say just so that they can just make him feel like inferior.
It's like, do you even have a degree?
Yeah, right. You are just sad man in a lab coat.
Your show was cool though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but yes, your show is cool. Yeah. No.
The first one, not the second one. The second one's kind of whack.
Yeah. No.
Very whack.
I've seen it on Netflix. I haven't made the plunge yet into that, but I probably won't either. But, dude, have you been hearing all of this stuff? All of the really premature, probably not true fake news about Kawhi Leonard.
About him wanting to leave the Spurs. I mean,
off the bat, completely jump to a random subject.
No, it's all good.
No.
Pinche Spurs and Pop I Trust, but still, the argument is that Kawhi is tired of all the rest time that they're giving him, like being very, very cautious on his leg injury and stuff like that. But he might be thinking that they're being too cautious, and he may want to play for another team and actually play more. I see the argument if you were to think that way, but I pictured this guy being like another Timmy kind of.
I was gonna say I think they're giving him a little bit too much credit. I really don't think he cares that much. Like, I think he's just like, basketball is fun. I like to play basketball. I like being here. Get out of my face. Like, that's what it's always seemed like. I would be very surprised if that's
what I'm saying.
I don't want to say selfish. I mean, I understand. Like, I truly believe that he has the talent to be one of the greatest to ever do it. He will never do that playing in San Antonio. That's just what I believe.
The system's just too.
You have to have the points. You have to have the numbers. You have to have, he can win rings here. He can do all of that. I mean, he was averaging a lot of points actually, when he was playing here, but the way that the team is run, the way Pop runs it and everything is, so team oriented. It's not, let him go out and get as many points as he can tonight. You know, Pop has never
it's how
truly
can we get the open shot utilizing his presence on the court.
exactly. Pop has never actually let Kawhi go. Kawhi could have scored 60 points already in a game.
Oh, easily.
I mean,
Easily.
he's had nights where he's just the best player on the planet.
Do
He
you
really
think-
does. Just like a lot of people do. I truly believe that he, with any other team, he would have had a 50-point game already. I think I don't know about 60. That's just a lot, but
Especially when you have
he
so
would
many
have
shooters in the Western Conference.
He would have scored 50 points already. With any other team, if playing with him, he would have had a 50-point game.
Yeah.
He's in his fourth or fifth year now, I believe, sixth year maybe.
Something like that.
No, I don't know, something like that. But his career high is not even in the 40s.
I thought it was like 45 or something like that.
It might have been. He might have broke it last year, actually.
I'm not too sure.
No, yeah, he did. He's gotten it up into the 40s, but he should be in the upper. You know, it's just it works so well. The team game and everything. It works so well and everything. But I'm tired of watching players leave and go be good other places, dude.
Yeah, and it's,
You
at
know,
the bottom line, it's just now players just want to play. You know, much like how it's the money fight era in MMA, it's the
Yeah.
super team era in
Mhm.
basketball.
Mhm.
And it's just,
My theory though is if Kawhi, I haven't even looked if he's in his last year of his contract.
he is in the last year of his contract, and they offered him, I think it was a $200 million contract for 5 years, and next he's up for free agency next season, and he hasn't decided yet.
Okay. Well, my prediction,
Hypothetical.
my would be amazing if Kawhi did happen to leave. You know, if he did happen to.
San Antonio's like, no!
If he did happen to leave, you know, and go wherever.
I heard
and
talk of LeBron. Is that who you're thinking?
He's a free agent, dude.
Senior,
Dude, he and DeJounte Murray are like best friends. They work out with each
I
other.
saw him after DeJounte had that big dunk. He
Yeah.
congratulated him, and
Yeah, they're
dude,
they're
that
not
was
best friends, but they're really good friends. You know, LeBron works with him a lot. He worked with him over the summer.
oh wow.
He really likes DeJounte Murray. I really think
And
there's
honestly,
something there, dude.
The thing I was kind of scared about
yeah.
too, thinking was Kawhi is injured, and I'm wondering. The first thing I think of is the football players like J.J. Watt, Gronkowski, people who just can't stay healthy. And I'm not convinced yet, but a small little thing in the back of my head is afraid that Kawhi might be one of those people that just can't be like another Derrick Rose.
There's a stat on him, I believe. I don't think he has played more than 70 games in a season in his career.
Oof.
In
I didn't hear
an
that.
82-game season, I'm pretty sure.
And
Either that or it's been since like one of his first 2 seasons.
And I think that would probably be like a thing LeBron would do, because I mean, the Spurs are a rebuilding team clearly, and LeBron could build his legacy by just like taking us to their championship.
Not really even rebuilding. It's just we have pieces, and LeBron he has transitioned, and it's why I've really gotten more and more respect. I've always respected LeBron, but it was always that
Especially
like loving
30,000 points last game too.
It's always been that like respectful and loving hatred. When it's like, oh, I hate you just because
it's like how
he's
we
on the
thought
other
about Kobe.
team.
You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, dude, I love Kobe.
Love to
I
hate
love
him, but
Kobe.
then like towards the
I
tail
love
end, I'm just
Kobe.
like, dude, he's just
Ever since I really watched that documentary, dude, I've been like, I mean, I had more respect for him at the end part of his career, because he came back from those injuries and everything, and you know, everybody's talking about Michael Jordan or LeBron James, and I'm sitting here
where's
going,
the fuck's Kobe Bryant and all this?
yeah, exactly. Like, I'll take winner against Kobe Bryant. Like, come on, this guy has. I mean, it just alone, this guy had one thing that the other 2 guys don't have, and didn't really get that close to. He scored 81 points in a game.
Yep. Granted, he had the team to do it when he did do it, and that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, I just think LeBron would really, if we were to trade them, you know, of course you want Kawhi to stay healthy and stuff like that, but would he be able to stay healthy? And you know, LeBron is getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's 33, 32, 33.
So, I mean, we might
He's
be able
older, but it
but
would be
he
the
could be one of
yeah.
these freak athletes that play till they're 39, 40.
He will.
And, I
He
mean,
will.
dude, right now we got Manu, and, like,
Ma-
whether it's, like, a last spurt
Uh-huh.
of on-fireness, you know, we got Manu back for this season, man, and he's doing great.
I think he'll I don't know, dude. He's
Him, Manu,
because he
and
said the same thing as like what Tim always said was he said I'm gonna play until I'm not effective anymore. And dude, he's
this
doing
season, he's doing
good,
great.
man. Yeah. So I could maybe see him coming back one more. Honestly, I think Tony Parker won't play until he's 40.
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
I could see him retiring at 37, 36.
I could see that, too.
Because that'll have been, I don't know, man. He might want to go for 20 also.
But, dude, I'm very impressed and I like the move of putting Parker on the bench.
I didn't at first because I was just still in that man, that's a tough
Dude,
one.
But, I mean, the torch is being
Yeah.
passed. He's still going to play.
Avery Johnson did it to a 19-year-old kid
Named
Tony Parker. Yeah.
And we have a very young guy who is
Yeah.
I see such potential in this
Me
kid.
too.
And it's just the way he handles the ball at such a young age. And dude, you saw him slam it.
Mhm.
I think it was in the second quarter.
Dude, I don't know if you remember or not, but yeah, I told you. I said
I remember you talking about him earlier.
I said, dude, I don't want to make this comparison, and obviously he's a little bit lankier than him, but dude, he explodes like Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah,
Like he has that jumping ability, that just 1 foot jumping ability and everything, very similar to like what you see with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is one of those freaks, dude, that his dunks, when he dunks the ball, he's one of my
tries
favorite.
to take the rim off.
He's one of my favorite dunkers in the NBA because he's small. He's 6'4". Mm-hmm. He gets up, dude, and he throws every single dunk. He doesn't dunk light. Every dunk, he's like trying to rip the rim off, dude. It's so funny. Yeah, he's so mad at the rim,
trying to concuss anyone underneath.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like him for the same reason I didn't like LeBron, because he's on the other team, and I just don't like Russell Westbrook. But dude, he's good.
Yeah, you have to pay credit to do with that,
man.
Dude,
Yeah.
why are we not talking about? I mean, really, there's not much to talk about, but fucking Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
He's the greatest quarterback ever.
Exactly, and
He's the best quarterback
today,
ever.
I mean,
It's official.
A few years ago, I'd say, okay, well, I mean, like in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, but now, I mean, it's hands down. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback that's ever played the game.
He is the best,
and he's not done yet. Like
no.
There's this.
He's said he's wanted to play till he's 45.
I mean, he what show was it? It was like it's something about Tom Brady, and he was basically saying, like, if you're gonna come across the line and compete with me, you're gonna have to, kill yourself doing it, because that's what I'm doing, basically. It's just he's such a fierce competitor, and he's given up so much for the sport. It's his true purpose, and you're seeing that in him. And once again, the Pats are in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Who do you got on that one, man? I mean, it's hard
Patriots.
to bet. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Patriots by
comeback win, the fourth. Or do you think they can decisively win like 27-14 or something?
Yeah.
I'm thinking something like that.
Patriots 34-17.
You think it's gonna be okay? Cool.
It's gonna be one of those, like,
early on, the Eagles in the first quarter.
It's gonna be like it'll be like 17-10 halftime, Eagles lead or something, and then Brady will come out and throw 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and it'll be over.
It's like Mayweather in boxing, just
Dude,
like a robot man, just supercomputer.
Yeah, and actually no, I'll say what? I'll say, because he'll throw 2 in the he'll throw 2 in the third, and then maybe 2 again in the fourth, and just ice it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Tom Brady, dude. He's not gonna lose at that point.
I saw something saying that between Saban and
Belichick?
Yeah, and Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have won their respective championships when the other team won.
Oh, it's only one or the other?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, that's funny.
The years that Saban lost,
Belichick
won the championship and vice versa. So will that record be broken?
Oh, man.
Or will the Eagles come? Because the Eagles faced the Pats again in the Super Bowl recently. Like, how many years ago? I think it was
that was with Donovan McNabb, right?
I think so, yeah, and Terrell Owens.
And T.O. and was it Brian Westbrook was the running back, I believe? Yeah. Yeah. And then, I can't remember the year in that one. That was, I don't know.
That ended up being a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that was the one after they faced the Panthers. But anyways, I think it's going to be explosive. I mean, dude, honestly, fuck Phillies fans. I don't like what...
Personally, I haven't watched football, like, actually at all.
Oh, dude, I haven't watched a game this season. I haven't watched a single game.
I just haven't watched it at all. And
last year, when we were on fantasy team, we did, we both did pretty good in our league, but we watched every game.
Yeah,
pretty much every game. But this season, I've just been so balls deep in UFC and Bellator and boxing and I think it's gonna stay that way because I'm gonna start training here as soon as I can get the money. I'm gonna try to go to 10th Planet in Austin.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Bravo's gym.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Get back into that shit.
Cool.
I haven't trained in a while.
That's right. You said 10th Planet, and I was like, that sounds familiar.
Oh yeah.
He is incredible.
Oh,
by the
one of the best in the world.
I remember when you told me, and you were like that because I didn't really know who he was at all, and then. I'd seen him and I was just like, I was kind of like, who is this guy? And then you told me about him and I watched a couple of his videos. I was like,
Eddie Bravo is he's a pioneer of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's just, he had this fierce rivalry with one of the Gracie brothers. And I'll find out here in a moment. I can't remember, but it was a YouTube video and they faced, I think it was in the early 2000s. And they had he was a brown belt and he was facing, I think it was Hoist Gracie. I'm pretty sure it was Hoist, but I'll look it up here in a second. That
sounds about right as far as for what the year would be. That sounds about right.
And anyways, it was a tournament, and like Rogan and him were talking on the podcast about this jiu-jitsu match, and he ended up winning by triangle choke, and he was a brown belt.
Wow.
And he choked out Hoist Gracie in Brazil.
What?
Everyone was shocked except for Joe. He's like, oh, he did it. Just like how Joe is. And so I think it was 8 or 9 years later, it might be 11 years later, they have a rematch. Mm-hmm. And it's a 20-minute, 20-minute round, submission only. So you can't point anyone. So it's just the purity of the sport.
Wow.
And it's just so anticipated. It's huge. And the YouTube videos on there. But on the podcast, they rewatch the second jiu-jitsu match. And he's talking about exactly what he's thinking and when it happens in the video. It's such an entertaining.
Oh, I might have to watch that.
If you're into jiu-jitsu at all,
yeah.
And especially if you're just curious about who Eddie Bravo is, check this out because he dominates him. Like he doesn't know. It's a stalemate. No one gets submitted, but he gets an electric chair, which is basically when he's in half guard, and what that is whenever you have one of their legs isolated with your, what the term is, pulling someone in the guard when you're feet are around their hips. It's like that, but it's around one of their legs.
Right.
And he manages to get, let's just say he isolated his left leg. He'd get his right leg over to his left shoulder and do like a banana split type thing where it's like splitting it's like a pressure, testing his flexibility.
Whoa.
And he held them there. And he got it multiple times in the match.
Whoa.
And I'm
gonna have to watch that.
It's insane.
I'm gonna have to watch
It's
that.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I showed Kyle, and he was just like, "Oh my god, dude!" He milked a little bit in his pants.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll go there too. Freaking
this weekend,
Stipe,
fucking Stipe Miocic. Okay, a lot of questions were answered, and I had my money on Ngannou knocking him out in the second. I put a bet basically saying that in 25 minutes of fighting, because Ngannou was training at the UFC facility, just like the most state of the art fighting facility in the world. I thought that they might have been working on some wrestling and cardio. But guess what?
Punch.
And no
punch.
one told
Ivan
us.
Drago.
No one told us this, but we just found out that he didn't train at all wrestling. He only wanted to strike. Did not do any jiu-jitsu. Didn't do any cardio. He just punched mitts the entire time.
Man.
He didn't even spar. And I was under the impression that, his coach, he had good coaches and shit like that, but on fight day, they forgot his stool and a water bottle. So if you notice, he's standing and they're putting towels on him and shit like that during the fight. He has a very unprofessional corner.
Wow.
And it's just like, I thought there was a little bit more. And see, the UFC facility has nothing to do. They're just making sure they come in the best shape and form, on fight day. Like, they have nutritionists. They have, like, everything you need to be successthal. But they don't have,
they don't touch training.
I mean, they have nutritionists and shit that can give you advice and stuff, and therapists to help you with injuries. But like, your coaches are there with you, and we just saw. It's not like something. Brendan Schaub was mentioning this, but I kind of agree with him. Like, I was on the train with Ngannou early on because of just the sheer power, and we've never seen any of that tested before this fight, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt considering where he was training.
Yeah.
And in a 25-minute fight, I was betting that he can get the punch off to knock out Stipe more likely than Stipe ragdolling him for, I wouldn't say ragdolling, but keeping him on the ground for 5, rounds, and that's exactly what happened. Stipe, great wrestler, D1 wrestler, and even a better boxer, held him at bay, and dude, that first round was epic. That was a really, really good first round, and we just saw. The thing is, though, Ngannou was throwing his shots, and he just didn't look like an athletic. I mean, he's athletic, but like, not one of the. I know Rogan was saying that.
Almost too built, too much muscle.
I mean, not even that. Like, okay, compare him to like freak athletes. He's like a freak of nature with some like raw power, and he's getting some classes done to kind of tighten up his handwork and shit. But there's just a technique aspect that comes from training for a very, very long time, and he's only trained for 5 years that he just didn't have. He was clueless on the ground, didn't know what to do. And Stipe, after the first round, was gassed too. Because you try holding down 265 pounds of man like that. Right,
yeah.
You get gassed too, but, I mean, he had more of a tank, and he picked him apart, took him down, and it was just pathetic for the rest of the fight. And Stipe ended up breaking the record, defending the title 3 times.
That's so cool.
By doing that, passing, Cain Velasquez and the greats. And one of the questions I was asked on the podcast was like, what's your dream fight? And I was like, y'all have to tune in for, that podcast. It's episode 5. It's the MMA Baby Brother Beatdown Breakdown to, watch that. But anyways, I think Cain Velasquez would be a great, I want to see Cain versus Stipe. I think Cain has that one, not because Stipe is a bad fighter or anything like that, but if we have a healthy Cain, I think he'll drown him in his, in the later rounds, he'll drown him with his pace, and he does have superior wrestling. There's a difference between being able to hold down a very gassed out, tired, strong man that doesn't know what the fuck to do, and having someone that is the best in the division at it.
Right.
He will not be able to keep Cain on the ground.
Right. I think it would be like just the true test because both of
they both have knockout power.
They both have knockout power, but they're both pretty. Well, I mean, I would say they're just pretty much all around. Like they don't have many weaknesses. Like
Cain's taking some shots.
Both of their strong suits, I would say, would tend to be more towards wrestling. So it would be, it'll be really interesting to see them clash. I think that
it
would
definitely
be really
was
awesome.
With wrestling with Stipe in this fight, but I mean, he won a Golden Gloves. Like he's a good boxer. And he's just Cain has really good hands too. He has a lot of Muay Thai training. I mean, he does wheel kicks. I mean, very, very well too.
Yeah.
So I just think Cain brings that ferocity that
he's got a bigger bag of tricks.
Yes, yeah. and just again, hands down the best cardio in the division. I mean, we're talking like Nate Diaz status.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Just doesn't get tired.
But yeah, so check out that podcast if y'all want to find out a little bit more about that. But anywho.
Can I give you my dream fight?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Please do.
All right. You give him however long he freaking needs.
John
and
Jones.
You let John Jones figure his crap out and get off the juice, get off all the crap for a long amount of for just long enough and train and go and fight, because I'm still bitter about that because I didn't get to see enough of John Jones, and no one did, because that guy literally...
He's pound for pound the best, if not the best, second best fighter in the world. Who's to say what he would be off the juice? I think he could still be that good, personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, his character is definitely questionable. I mean, I feel like he's addicted to the risk. I mean, he lives life on the edge like that. I mean, he's a UFC fucking fighter, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just what he did to DC. Daniel Cormier is just fucking. It's atrocious, and we actually touch base on that in the podcast too.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of like. The thing about John Jones is that if I listened to a podcast with the Golden Snitch, Jeff Nowitzki from USADA, the company that tests the drug company for the UFC, and they give him every optimal chance to be aware of what you put in your body. So even though he took a polygraph test and it said that he wasn't aware about the tainted supplement or something like that, it's a polygraph test, dude. I mean, it's a fucking polygraph test. You can fucking stump that. And people are like, oh, what if he only gets a year? I mean, the guy said it's going to be a bare minimum of 4 years.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they said, okay, it's your responsibility as an athlete and that takes supplements to do the research on the product and use a third party, perspective on the product.
Yeah.
And, it's your fault if you still get a tainted supplement. And that's just... Whatever it was, man, he fucked up. And it
it's just such a shame, man, because he could. I mean, that would be amazing to watch. I mean,
who's the dream fight? Like, are you talking like just John Jones in general, or are you talking about anyone in particular?
No, I was like to fight to fight Stipe next.
Oh, I think he would pick him apart.
Yeah,
I think he'd pick Stipe apart unless Stipe could charge in and take him to the ground. I just feel like John Jones is mobile enough to tire him out. Not the same way that Stipe tired out Ngannou, but like if John Jones doesn't get knocked out, which we have seen against Gustafsson, that he does have a chin. He's just gonna pick him apart from the outside. I would think
he's got that reach, and
he's
such a good athlete. I mean, he could just go in and out and.
And I'm happy for DC, Daniel Cormier getting the belt finally, and he had that was an easy one to call. I mean, nothing against Uzdemir, but it's just DC is like an elite. He trains with Cain Velasquez and could be in wrestling, and he just I just had a feeling he would withstand the blows early on, because I mean. Uzdemir had been knocking out all of his opponents so quick, and he just had a good stream, but he was unranked 6 months ago. Yeah, and he just had a V line to the belt, and then he faced a strong wrestler, which he hasn't faced yet, and he got ragdolled for until the second by.
It kind of amazes me how many guys make it that far. Just on punch power, and then it's always so funny to watch them just get ragdolled. It's like
I was actually asked recently at work what I think the most beneficial, practice in mixed martial arts you would need. And in the past, I probably would have said jiu-jitsu. I mean, my background is kickboxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, and a little bit of a Muay Thai and stuff like that. But I really do think. For you to get to that next level, for you to be able to implement your plan the best and be a championship caliber fighter, you need great wrestling. I think it's one thing if you can strike all day and then you get taken down by a black belt in jiu-jitsu and then you can't do shit, or you can't do shit in the hands and you can't get them on the ground. What gets you in and out of that situation? Wrestling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, you can get yourself into a position where you're resting and he's still working.
Exactly.
You can lay on top of him and rest for a second, and he still has to move you off of him.
And if you have a good ground game, you can wait. You can manipulate him and keep him down long enough till you can see an opening, so you can strike or go for a submission. And just what DC did. He took his time, and he TKO'd him. He had him in a crucifix and just tapped his face. He wasn't fucking him up and trying to end his career. He was just he said he was going to go for the guillotine choke. He called it, and he was looking for it, and then he just got him to where he could not get up, and the ref stopped it. It was just like he wasn't even hitting that hard. he dominated him that hard on the ground, and I'm so happy
man.
for him.
He's just like, hey, I win.
Because DC is such an animal, you know. He's just such a pure animal.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. But
yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. Check out the podcast. The NBA podcast.
Yeah.
There's pictures too.
Oh yeah.
I might add some pictures in this one, come to think of it. Just for shits and gigs. Make it easier because we're throwing a lot of names out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, shit. Well, what time is it? It is a little past 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say, you got anything else, man? You want to wrap this bitch up?
No, I think it's pretty good.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Check out next week. I got more awesome podcasts coming. Peace out. Have a good night.